people that they need to come. So after that, we will start.
So shall we start, Ipek, or we
I'm
have
looking
already
for
55 people already there.
just I'm looking to the people that invited more. It's 47 people. That's why I'm not sure. Maybe you can quickly look for some part. They didn't respond, but yeah. I mean, just let's look. Then if you just say that we can start, I can start.
Yeah.
So, Rav, do you think we can start?
Hi, Epic. Good morning.
Hi, Jaria.
Epic, if we can give 5 minutes to the suppliers to connect.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes. Then you think we can start?
5 minutes or?
Maybe 2 more.
Okay.
Mike sir, Dishan sir, Anil sir, planning.
Okay. 5 minutes. 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 5 minutes
I think we should start.
Yes, yes, we should.
Yeah, not to wait. I don't want to make people to wait more. Just the thing is, please do not open your camera because I will share the presentation. Maybe some of the connections are not okay for this. So there is one camera on right now. Please close it. And also, please mute yourself during the presentation. You will have time to ask your questions. So just I'm now opening my camera to say hi to all of you. Welcome again. Thanks for joining this training and meeting. Sora, by the way, we can start the recording.
Perfect.
As I said, thanks for joining. We want to do this before just starting to season 5 projects. That's why just we collected your. Can you mute yourself, please? Or I need to mute you. So please, Monir, I don't know if I'm saying correct. Please close your camera. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay, good, great. Thank you. So, by the way, Sora, do you think, okay, it's recording, okay. Thanks for joining again. As I said at the beginning, we just want to organize this meeting to collect your questions, answer your questions and feedbacks. And hopefully at the end of this training, your question marks will be nearly ended, then the topic is more clear for you. So now I'm stopping my camera as well and sharing the presentation. Okay, Sora, I think you can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now I can start. For the agenda, just I want to start with sharing the survey results with you. And then I want to go a little bit depth on the product lifecycle work and the tools and the methodologies that we are working on right now. Then I want to also go in detail for the data collection questionnaires that you have, and also focusing on the improvement points after doing the LCA projects. Sorry. And as I said, starting from the survey results, for the first question, it is good that for the understanding on the methodology and the implementation of the LCA project, the rating is 6.6 out of 5, and I can say that there are pretty good definitions for the life cycle assessment actually, which is good. It's nice to see that, I mean, the definition and the scope and the aim of the life cycle assessment is understandable for most of the suppliers. But just to underline again, those are some definitions that I selected from the survey. But as I said, there are pretty much good definitions more in the answers. We can say that life cycle assessment is a methodology for evaluating environmental impacts with all life stages of the product. So the others can be also traceability, recording, analysis of the product from cradle to grave, including reproduction, analyze and measure the environmental footprint. Someone open the microphone. Can you please close that? Thank you. So it is good that, as I said, the definition is clear, and when we are focusing for the answer for the team part, as you may remember, there are certain options that you can select if you have a dedicated team, or if you have a one person who is coordinating all the work. Also, we ask about working on the improvement points, also internal trainings within the facility to increase the knowledge on the LCA, and again, as I said, improvement plans for the LCA results. I can say that in general, I mean, from the response, half of the people said that there's a dedicated team for their organization, and also there is one responsible person who coordinates the work. So our aim is actually to having both, which means there should be one dedicated person who coordinates all the work collected and making the communication within the H&M team, but also that one responsible person cannot do all the data collection. The responsibility for that person should be only the coordination, I mean the project management side. And dedicated team with the certain responsibilities, maybe data collection parts can be different, the processes can be different, but there's certainly needed for more than one person for the data collection and validation from their production. So this is the recommended part. This helps your organization a lot to secure the data collection and validation part actually. And right after that, when you have the results, the important part is to focusing on to improvement points actually, which will also we talk at the end of the presentation. But first, before we need to focus for the improvement points. First, we need to secure the data part. Then we can be sure that our results are true. Then we can focus on the improvement points that we found out of the LCA study. So this is the part that we asked for the support that you need. Actually, we can divide the topics into two. One is the data collection and the validation, and the other one is the creating improvement plan. And it is seen that creating improvement plan support is more needed according to the response. But for the data collection and validation part as well, some of the answers is from the data collection sheets, all the cells, how to collect data more exactly, and we didn't understand the validation methodology, which I will talk soon actually. And the other part is the creating the improvement plan part, identifications of the projects, benefits of this practice, how to improve our consumption, those kind of things that we will talk. Also, one comment is about, to secure the data collection analysis, for the responsible person who should coordinate the work. Someone asked about to guide for the responsible person, like what kind of qualifications for that responsible person should have. So that's why also we will share a best practice with you. Arvind from India will share about their implementations, about their team, about their responsibility sharing, because all of the implementations can be different from facility to facility. That's why just Arvind will share their understanding and methodology. Then we hope that you can reflect their methodology and implementation on your facility as well, hopefully, which will answer this question for you actually. So if we just need to start for the product life cycle, we can start with asking some questions. Hopefully you watched the first training that we gave in the first half. All of our R&Ds just shared this in recording with you before as well. So if you didn't watch it, please watch it after this training as well, because it's also a good refresher training for you, and it is the beginning part. That's why I recommend and I underline the importance of that training. But like that training, I also again start with the importance of the work with the product lifecycle. That's why I just want to start with asking some questions. Do you want to learn more about your product impact, or do you know how does it reflect to the customer, or do you know what you can share about your product's environmental performance, or do you know you can measure your carbon footprint of your product? Actually, all of those answers will go for the product lifecycle impact activities and methodologies. This is important because with those activities, you can learn more about your product impact, which means you can learn your carbon footprint of your product, water footprint for your product, and the hotspots, I mean the improvement points that you need to focus in your facility. And this is super important because customer wants to know it. Transparency is here, but this is not the only thing. The important part is, especially the Generation Z, the new generation, wants to learn more about the sustainability side of the products, as you know. There are also lots of examples from other brands as well, and I can say that this is not only the expectation from H&M brand, but this is also the thing that customer wants to see. That's why it is super important to focus and work on the product lifecycle work. Which means actually product lifecycle work is just as I said at the beginning, kind of assessment methodology of your production's lifecycle. And lifecycle means all life stages. We can say that the fiber production, the yarn production, weaving, knitting, dyeing, finishing, cut and sew, transportation. This is the part of the production of the product actually. Then distribution, the retail side from the customer, and the use phase and end of use part is the also use phase and the end of life of the product, which we can say that all life stages has a certain impact, and after the analysis we need to focus, I mean also customers needs to focus on the use phase impact of their product, but also as a responsibility from as a brand and a facility, we are responsible, especially responsible for the production environmental performance of our product. And when we focus for activities under the product life cycle, we can say that for the product life cycle work, we are going beyond from facility level impact to the product level impact. One of the way is life cycle assessment, as we talked before, which is the scientific way of the assessment for the full life cycle. The other one is, some of you maybe know, HIC also has a product tool, like the facility tool that you are filling for FEM. Also, HIC is developing a product tool, which is a simplified LCA to give an average environmental impact of the results. So from the HIC product tool now, also there is a tool called MSI, which is the Material Sustainability Index. You can see your material selections, environmental impact. You can compare it, and all the results are coming from the life cycle assessment results actually. And SAC's aim is to also connect FEM module to the product module next year or the year after to have a holistic result of the production and the facility and the product actually. As H&M, we are also working with the HIC product tool for the improvement for the methodology side, but also we are assessing our products with HIC product tool and sharing with our customers as well. So this is also another thing that will be more in your agenda as well. Maybe this is the first time that you are hearing about it, but it is super important. Why? Because also we are in a work called PEF. PEF is the Product Environmental Footprint Regulation from EU, which means EU is now working for to settle down a product lifecycle, actually lifecycle assessment methodology. And now methodology is done, and we are also, as I said, in the working group for this and other brands as well. And the expectation from PEF will be, according to the product types that you are producing, as a brand, you will have responsibility to assess your product's environmental impact and to share it. In easy words, this will be a regulation in 1 or 2 years, and that's why it's not I mean, the product lifecycle work is not like a nice to have, it will be a must to have thing that we need to work. And PEF's aim is to work with Higgs product tool for this assessment. That's why also we are in the loop for the methodology alignment and all kinds of working groups for Higgs product tool as well. So as you can see, lifecycle assessment is a kind of main methodology for everything. For now, lifecycle assessment softwares, as you know, we are using Gabi. Gabi is not same with product tool right now, or we need to say that product tool is not same with Gabi right now. It is improving. We are working for this as well. The important thing and the aim will be when you open your product module, you can select the processes, your consumption, your product, and you can quickly measure your environmental impact. Because, as I said, lifecycle assessment, and I mean Gabi, is super scientific. That's why it should be used by only experts. But Higgs product tool will be for designers, for merchandisers, for facilities to make better decisions before the production, and also to assess the environmental impact of the product. Hopefully this is clear for you. For your questions, you can write it to the chat at the end. We can look at it. But I can say that as H&M, we will continue to work with lifecycle assessment projects with Gabi, and also will improve the Higgs product tool, as well as all of the things will be connected with the EU regulation, which will be the which we must implement as a brand in EU. So this is the summary of it. Actually, for this part, maybe I talked in the for the previous slide, but as I said, MSI, I mean the Material Sustainability Index and Product Module, is a simplified LCA tool to be used by the non-experts. And now, as I said, it is super applicable to use for sustainable material impact follow-up. So you can go and you can just see, if you convert your conventional cotton to the recycled cotton, what will be the impact that you can save. You can easily calculate it. And for the processes part, I mean, kind of dyeing, spinning, and the other things, the methodology, I mean, and the tool should be improved more, and we are working for this actually. That's why, as a summary, for the product lifecycle module, I can say, it is needed to work on the product lifecycle impact to drive the customer trust and impact, and to meet with the future EU regulation. And for this, there are multiple ways that we can do according to the scope of our work. Lifecycle assessment is the more scientific method to see the full lifecycle impact of the production, the processes, I mean the sustainable processes, and the innovation. So specific collections with specific improvements in the processes, especially the sustainable processes and the innovations, will be worked through Gabi, through lifecycle assessment software actually. At the same time, Higgs product module and MSI, as I said, is the simplified LCA tool for now, and especially for the raw material environmental impact improvement, we will continue and we will work more and more with the Higgs product module and MSI. But as I said, as the life cycle assessment is taking some time, it's a scientific method and it is complex. That's why our aim is to scale up this to the all product types, to the all products for the supply chains. That's why Higgs product module is needed to be used actually. And as I said, for this we are in the working group, but also as Higgs product module is having other LCA results. For example, the brand Nike or the Gap did some LCA analysis and share some kind of information with Higgs to improve the LCA data in the data library for Higgs product module. Also, our aim is this, actually. Our aim is to share as much as we can to improve the Higgs product module. After this training, we will share an email with you to ask your actually idea about sharing the LCA results with HIC to improve the data library actually. With this, we will not share the facility name. Also, we will share the average consumptions or average information for all processes, which means you can think that we want to share dyeing process of denim, for example, and for that process input and output information, we will share the average consumption from 10 suppliers, and we will not share the supplier name as well, just to feed and improve the HIC product model. But for this, we want to get your idea and your perception and your permission as well. That's why after this meeting, we will share an email with you so we can communicate through that. But as I said, if you have any question, you can write it to the chat box and we can discuss it at the end of the training as well. When we focus for the PO action side, this is also one of the questions, that's why I put this slide. You need to know that all PO actions, all facility actions reflected in the product level. For example, this is just an example as a benchmark and the product from our previous collections, and just using sustainable processes and recycled cotton instead of conventional cotton. Those are the savings from carbon footprint, water footprint, and primary energy demand actually. In summary, you can think that from sustainable material usage, from sustainable processes, you can achieve the better impact on your product. So you can just connect this with all activities related to water and climate agenda actually, which means if you use more renewable energy, if you focus for water circularity, if you are using renewable fuel, if you are doing more water and energy efficiency, and if you are using sustainable materials, you will improve your environmental impact of your product. When you want to know where to start on your product improvement, then at that time you can look for your LCA analysis to see where to start actually. So until that part, I will start with the data collection part, but maybe it's good to look for the chat part. Is it possible to use Estima Pro instead of LCA? Okay, oh, sorry. There are some people in the lobby. Someone, okay, I got it. Okay, yes, the answer is yes. Sima Pro is another kind of software that you can use. Just the thing is, we are using Gabi. So, for example, if you are using Gabi also, you can send your model to us, and from the software, we can look at your model, and in any support that you need, we can support you more. This is the benefit for the Gabi side. And also, as you know, we are working with Spera. Most of our suppliers worked with them last year as well. We have also a supplier package for Gabi purchasing. That's why just also let us know if you are interested in. You can write us on this. But in terms of methodology side, totally yes, also you can use Sima Pro. I don't know why I cannot get this person in. Anyway, so there is no question left. So okay. So that's why now we can start with the data collection part, which is one of the things that you want to focus according to the survey results. I already shared this. I looked all of your answers, and I just try to reflect all of the questions that you have. I try to do this. So as you remember, this is the starting point of our data collection Excel. As you can see, I don't want to go so much detail for the beginning training, because as I said, you already have the recording of this. So that's why please refer to first training if you didn't watch it, I want to underline this again. But this is an example from the fabric production, as you can see, and one by one, according to your availability of the processes, you need to fill every tab for your product. But let's focus on one process because, as I said, there are some feedbacks on it. Again, this is maybe a beginning phase, but I want to underline it again. As you can see, as I said, you need to fill all the processes that you have. In the general details tab, you need to go and you need to say yes or no according to your process informations. And you need to fill, please mute yourself. Thank you. And for all the tabs, you need to fill according to your availability. If, as an example, if we just took sizing, as you can see, we have the inputs and we have the outputs. All of the mentality is same in all the processes. This means those are the inputs for sizing process and those are the outputs. And as you can see, there is the annual quantity for the inputs and outputs, and there is an automatic calculation for per kilogram calculation for the inputs and the outputs, which is saying that, for example, for 1 kilogram of processed yarn, how much softener you are using, how much binder you are using, it is automatically will be calculated here. The important part for these tabs, for these sheets is the more that you fill for process level data. I mean, you can calculate it, you can measure it. Measurement is the first choice, but if you cannot, you can calculate it. We need to get the data in process level, which means we need to get the annual quantity of the processed water that you are using in the sizing process. That's super important. And as we said before, these tabs, these sheets should be filled according to the product, according to the campaign product that we are working with. So, for example, if you have 5 products that we are doing data collection and LCA, you need to fill this per article separately because we need to differentiate the inputs and outputs of all articles. This is important because as campaign products are more, we can say, more sustainable because there are more sustainable dyeings, finish, and washing processes, we need to reflect the impact that we can achieve, I mean the reduction performance of the environmental impacts that we can, then we can reflect more on our performance actually. The more average data that you wrote, the more average environmental impact results that you have, and maybe at the end you cannot see the needed impact of your environmental performance actually. Maybe your aim is to do, or maybe the result is 30% carbon footprint reduction, but because of the average data that you have, it may seem with 10%, which means you are doing your efforts, but because of the data quality, you cannot reflect it. This is the important point. That's why we are using so much time on the data collection and the data validation, because we are efforting so much to improve our products and we want to reflect it. And as I said, half of your commands is to focus on the improvement points. But before that, we need to secure our data quality to reflect those improvements actually. So also, as you know, there is an automatic calculation for the mass balance check. The reference value is for the mass balance check is 5%, which means the total input and the total output difference should not be more than 5%. Because if it is more than 5%, then also it is saying something about your data quality. And for sure, for the mass balance, as you may imagine, we are just having the materials and the chemicals. For some processes we are taking count process water, but some not. But as you may imagine, we are not taking electricity as it is not a mass unit. So the important part for all the tabs is also to secure the mass balance. That's why before you are sending your sheets to the R&Ds, you need to be sure that you are securing this 5% limit. If not, you should have a reason, you should have an explanation for this. If you have an explanation, I mean, yeah, this is 15%, but the reason is this, because this wash is like this and the result is like this, then we can evaluate your reason. But if you just send it as 15%, we are sending a mail to you about the reason, you are sending it, which means we are losing time actually. That's why if you are a little bit, I mean, when you are sending the Excel sheet, if you have those kind of explanations, you can add it to the comment part or to the here, then we can understand, I mean, our R&Ds also can understand this during the validation process, which will make our lives more faster and easier. And as I said, the more product level data, first choice is measurement, then the calculation, the better results that you can get. And it is super important that you need to especially focus on the energy and the water data that you are entering in the processes, because the biggest environmental impacts are coming from energy and the water data. What are the things that you can do? Just let me check. Okay, what are the things that you can do? Let's look for the points. As I said, for the collection for the data, the way of collecting it can be changeable in every facility. Main logic is to collect the most accurate data from the production for that specific product that we are working in the campaign. Primary data is important to focus on the product-specific improvements for the campaigns, measurement or calculation of all inputs and outputs, as I said. All process receipts must include water and energy balance as well, which means for sizing, for example, you need to know how much kilogram of water are you using for 1 kilogram of the processed yarn. It is also important for the electricity as well. As I said, it is calculated, and one of our validation focus is to look on this one. For example, if you are sending us 5 collection sheets, the thing that we are doing is looking to the electricity consumption per kilogram, and we are comparing it between the 5 articles. We are not only doing this for the same season, we are comparing this with the data that we have from 2 seasons before as well. This is important because, as I said, the main focus will be the electricity and the processed water. And when we compare, if we are seeing that for electricity in sizing, for example, for 1 kilogram of processed yarn, if it is 0.5, but from previous collection, if it is 1.4, then this means you are using 3 times more electricity than you used for previous season. And this is a question mark actually. Then we are looking at that and we are asking this to you as well. That's why our recommendation is, because we are doing this, when you secure the mass balance, please compare the electricity, steam and processed water consumption that you have per kilogram between your articles, so that maybe you have a bigger ones there. Then maybe you may have an explanation. You can say that this is a specific product. This is having some kind of additional processes. That's why electricity is more. Then that's okay. But it is important for us to control it before starting to modeling it, because if it is wrong, then it is seen in the model, and then we are coming to the beginning again. We are asking you the consumptions again. You are checking it, and it is again meaning that we are using the time again. So just to summary, the thing that we are doing is looking for the mass balance in the validation, and also, as I said, comparing the per kilogram electricity value input for sizing with article A and article B, or article A from season 4 and article B from season 3. This is the thing that also you can do because it is automatically calculated. Our recommendation is also production specific data should be collected on site from a technical person, because that specific person can ask to the right questions to the right people in your team as well. I mean, it is important to ask the electricity consumption of your fabric processing data to the responsible person. Responsible person means who can give the exact answer. Maybe he cannot give it, then he can know the way that he can calculate it actually. That's why it's important to work with the people who are in the facility, who are in the production lines actually. And for the production process data, as I said, that data should be product specific. But for the utilities data, which is the captive power plants, effluent treatment plant, water treatment plant, for those parts you can give the facility-wise data if you cannot give it product-wise data. And it is also super important that you should not change the units in the sheets. You need to write the consumption in the unit that is stated in the sheet, which means if we are saying processed water in kilograms, please do not delete this and write in meter cubes and write it to here. You need to write all the quantities, all the consumptions to the unit which is saying here actually. If you are not measuring in that unit, then you can say this in the comment part that this is this meter cubes, and with our calculation we found this in this kilograms. Then we can know that you calculate that result. But please do not write it to here. You can write it in the comments part. And as I said, for the validation part, just to underline again, all the inputs and the outputs for the process should be there in the process sheet. Mass balance is automatically calculated. It must be checked before you send it to the R&Ds. And as a logic, one process output of the product should be equal to the next process's input, which means if you fill this for the, for example, yarn spinning process, and you have a yarn waste, or we can say this for sizing as well. We fill this for sizing, we have the processed yarn after the sizing, and there's a certain amount here. This amount should be equal or super close to the weaving, which is the next process actually. Because this process, after this processed yarn is directly go to the weaving process. Then the amount of the processed yarn after the sizing should be equal as an input for the weaving. Please also check this before sending the data collection sheets. And as I said, you can focus on the consumption per kilogram info. It is in column A. We already talk about this. You can compare the consumption with other products that you have. This is called logic check that we are doing actually. And those are the things that mostly we are doing during the validation process. The additional things that we are checking is about the consumptions. For example, again, if we think that softener amount is higher than the other article, or if the R&D thinks that in the washing receipt, for example, there should be enzyme, but if you didn't write it, they are asking about it. I mean, those are the things that we called logic check, actually. And this is, I think, the nightmare for your site. This is the captive power plant. So I try to tell this as easy as I can. Actually, captive power plant is asking about your inputs and the outputs for your cogeneration and the boiler. So this means if you are producing steam and electricity or only steam, then if you are producing it on your site, this means you have a cogeneration plant or you have a boiler, then you need to fill this. If you are producing steam, then this means you have a boiler, and if you have an electricity, then this means you have a cogeneration plant actually. The thing that we are trying to do in this sheet is when you are writing the inputs and outputs of this machine, we are also trying to model your energy production, I can say. So the important part is first to write the right source of the fuel that you are using to produce and steam. If it is coal, if it is diesel, if it is natural gas, if you are using those sources to produce steam and electricity, you need to write it to here. It is same for all inputs and outputs actually. And after that, you need to write the total steam generation that you did. And if you are using this steam to produce electricity, then after that you need to write the total electricity generated after the cogeneration plant. So, I mean, the input and output part maybe is a little bit clear, but as you know, there is a kind of efficiency calculation that we are doing actually. The important part for this is you already have an automatic calculation in your sheet for this, but separately our R&Ds are also doing the efficiency check of the boiler because there are some reference values for this. According to those reference values, if it is below or super high than this reference value, then this means your data is wrong or your machine is inefficient. If we put this inefficient machine or the wrong data machine in our model, it is seen that you are using more energy than actually you are using, which results with super high carbon footprint for your product. That's why this part is super important actually. And again, the important part that we need to focus is the unit. Do not change the unit. And as I said, there is an automatic calculation for efficiency of your plants. Before we are sharing the season 5 Excels with you, we will go through with the efficiency calculation again. So after you just fill this part, you will have an automatic result of the efficiency. The important part that you need to do is, if it is not according to the reference values, you need to focus for your quantities that you wrote actually. Maybe you are measuring the natural gas in meter cubes and you are converting into the kilograms, then we need to find a better way to convert this actually. But in general, just want to underline again, if you are producing steam or electricity, then you need to fill this sheet. If not, then you shouldn't fill this sheet. And the thing that you need to do is writing the fuel that you are using in that machine in kilograms and the total steam and electricity that is generated. The thing can be maybe you are not measuring or calculating the steam and electricity in the correct number, or maybe the source of the raw material, or the quantity of the raw material, the fuel is not correct. So in your data collection system, my suggestion is mostly focus on this part, this sheet actually. Because also this reflects to these tables, as you know, it is right below in the CPP table in the sheet. We are asking about the steam mix and electricity mix. It is super important for you to write the right energy source in the right place. For example, for captive power plant, which means cogeneration or boiler, if you have it, then you need to write the source to the CPP cell, which means, as an example, for example, in your cogeneration, just as an example, you just think that you are using natural gas. That's why in the examples, suppliers coming and writing the energy source in the natural gas electricity. But the thing that you need to do is, if you are producing your electricity or steam from captive power plant, then you need to write this to the captive power plant cell here. Other than that, for example, for electricity, if you have grid electricity, then you need to write the quantity to here. Or if you have a natural gas electricity that you are buying from outside, then you need to write it to here. That's why this electricity and steam mix tables get super confusing actually. As I already say this, and summary of the table is to fill the right source of the electricity and the steam to the right place. And as you can see, when you write the quantity and the total, there is an automatic calculation for percentage share to here as well, and it should be 100% in total. If it is not, please just make it like that, then send it to us like this. It is important that you need to send the right data to us. And in the below, again, as you know, there is a mass balance check for the electricity, steam, and the water consumption, which is doing that it is calling for the electricity, steam, and water consumption that you feel in the process sheets separately, and it is coming to here. And then, as you know, you write also the electricity consumption in the captive power plant tab, which is here. So the thing that that formula is doing is comparing this amount of the total electricity that you wrote here with the total electricity that you wrote in the process sheets. So if there's a big difference there, then this means maybe you wrote the wrong number in the process sheets or in the total number if you are writing all the data in product level. But if you are filling your data in your processes in product level, but for the other data in facility level, then it is normal that you have a big difference here. Just to repeat this again, maybe it's a little bit confusing. If you are filling all your data in the Excel in product level, you need to check this actually. You need to check this mass balance. But if you are not, if you are only filling process level data here, but in captive power plant part, in the electricity and the steam mix part, if you are not writing the product level data, if you are writing the facility level data, then there may be some differences. But please remind yourself that if you are writing facility level data, which means if you are writing the source of the steam of your facility, then all of the tables should be the same in your all articles. If you are not producing it in another building or something. But if you are writing the facility level data, all the data that you wrote in steam and electricity mix should be same with all articles. And for water treatment plant and wastewater treatment plant, if you are using, if you are treating your process water, I'm not saying domestic water, if you are getting the groundwater, for example, and if you are processing it before you get it to the washing or to the processes, then you need to fill the water treatment plant tab. If you are using domestic water, please do not fill this one. And for the wastewater treatment plant, if you have a treatment plant and just send it to the nature after your treatment, then you need to fill this. But if you are sending your water to the third party, please then do not fill this one and write that we have a third party. And if you are not treating it, please write that we are only treating domestic, or we are not treating our input water. Just want to repeat again. If you are treating your process water in the input of the process, in the input for your facility, then you need to fill the water treatment plant tab. If you are treating it for domestic usage, then please do not fill this, because we are looking for the product level impact and we don't need the domestic level water impact in the product. And if you are treating your wastewater, then you need to fill this one. But if you are sending it to the third party treatment plants, then you don't need to fill this here. So just I want to a little bit wait here and get your questions. A unit process in two facilities may vary in terms of environmental impact, depends on the individual efficiencies. Then how GABI and the other software for LCA deciding the impact of the unit processes available in the data bank. And this is according to your consumption, actually. If in the unit process, within the two facilities, the electricity consumption, the inputs and outputs, I mean, maybe the thing that you are using, maybe you are using the same softener, but the consumption is different. In that part, LCA is looking, I mean, GABI is looking for the consumption that you enter, actually. In case chemical input quantity, should it include only chemical concentration? Actually, I'm not sure if I understand this correctly, but my answer is you need to write the chemical quantity that you have in your receipt, actually. If you are putting 100 kilograms of the indigo dye, for example, then you need to write 100 kilograms there. Net calorific value is different for each country, so how can we take it as a constant according to the consumption of all natural gas? For this one, we get an average as an efficiency consumption for the automatic calculation. But if you know your specific calorific value for your natural gas, then you can write it in the command part and you can change it in the formula. Can you mute yourself? Okay. I mute myself as well. Okay. For the natural gas calorific value, for example, if you know it specifically for your natural gas, then you can write it in the note part. Where is that? As you can see, for here is the average calorific value that we took for the calculation. But if you think that you have another value and you know it, then you can write it to the command part and change it from here. Then the automatic calculation is done through for your net calorific value. Yeah, and also it's same for the diesel. How can gas from meter cube be converted into kilogram, keeping in mind the variables pressure of the density? I mean, you need to go for Google for this. I mean, there are some kind of conversion factors for this, but before looking for that conversion factor, as you also underline, you need to look for the variables as well, and you need to find the most accurate data that you can find. So also again, if you are doing this conversion, you can write it to the conversion, to the command cell. So when we are doing the validation, we will control this one again. We can use ideal gas law to calculate. Yeah, also, yeah, that can be another answer, correct. Before closing the data collection part, do you have specific questions? As I said, the thing that I try to do is, let us go back to your inputs. I try to underline the validation methodology that we are going through, which we can underline again that the thing that we are doing is looking for the mass balance. As we said, please do not send the Excel sheet as ready if it is above 5%. You can send it if you only have an explanation for this. If you have an explanation, please write it near to here. And also we are doing the logic check. As I said, logic check means R&Ds are looking for the inputs, for example, and just checking if that article should use that much of softener, or if we have an additional chemical here, or in the washing receipt for garment washing as well. They are looking if there's any other chemical or any other input that should be in the receipt. So this is the logic check that we are doing. And other logic check is, as I said, the per kilogram comparison, which means we are comparing the electricity, steam, and processed water consumption per kilogram between your articles from the same seasons or the previous seasons. If we think that something is super low or super high when we compare it, we are asking the reason. So it is also, as I said, a good double check for your data quality. As I said, there may be some differences. It can be okay because you can just say that product weight is different, or product specifications is different, or any other reason that you may have. It is okay to have that difference and that explanation. The important part is when you have it, when you just compare it, if you don't know why you have a difference like that, then this is a problem on your data quality. This is the thing. And as I said, this is one of the other things that we are doing in the data validation part. And I'm sorry if you get bored for this part, but as I said, I know that this part is the most problematic part. That's why I want to underline it again. As I said, we will go through with the automatic calculation again, and you have the reference values in your sheets. So according to the reference values, if your data is not okay, please do not send it until it is ready. But if you are saying that our data is this, we are sure, but efficiency is this, then we can discuss about your situation. But the important part is you need to be sure about your annual quantity of your fuel and also annual quantity of the steam and the electricity generation. After that, we can look to the formula, or if you, as in the questions, you can think that your calorific value is different for any of the source. We can talk about it, but the important part is this. If you have the boiler, if you are producing steam, or if you are producing both steam and electricity, then you need to fill this one. The electricity and the steam mix table. If you are producing steam with the boiler, then please write it only to here. And if you have the cogeneration, please only write it to here. If you have other sources, if you are buying it outside or something, then write the other, use the other places. And for this part, for this mass balance check, as I said, if you are writing the product level data to everywhere in the sheet, you need to check this mass balance. But if you are writing the facility-wise data for the steam and the electricity mix, then you don't need to check this mass balance. But as I said, if you are writing the facility-wise data for electricity and steam mix, then it should be same for all of your products for some specific, except some specific reasons. And underline again for water treatment plant, if you are processing your processed water before the production, then you need to fill it. And if you are processing your wastewater, then you need to fill it. Otherwise, if you are using third party, then you should not fill these sheets. Oh, okay, there are other questions. Some chemical don't increase weight like caustic soda, so how we can balance input and output data? 5% variation limit. Then you mean that it is not increasing, but then maybe the weight of the processed fabric or the garment is getting higher. Or for that specific reasons, for example, there's also a specific case for in some parts for pumice stone as well. The amount is super high and it is collapsing the mass balance actually, but the amount is using like that, but it is not included in the mass balance in some cases as well. So as I said, for that kind of specific cases, we can discuss. We have a question on emission to freshwater. We have meters in for emission for that part. If you have difficulty for the emissions, and I think you are talking about the BOD, COD. If it is not, please write it again. If you cannot write it like in the sheet, then you can skip it. Then you can just skip it. Can we give example raw materials, item finished by items it. Raw materials, please can be example raw materials item finished for. I don't understand this. Please, Murat, can you explain what you try to say?
Yes, thank you. I want to explain raw material, finished goods, and finished fabric, how to calculation, and finished raw material, interlining, pocketing, thread, elastic, zipper, how to calculation, and how to input this annual quantity.
Maybe just let's wait to listen Arvind for this. Maybe they may have some examples for this. But I mean, you are from the production. I mean, you are from the facility. Actually, I cannot know how you can calculate it, because in general you have a data system. You need to know the receipts. You need to know the amount that you are using in the production line in general. So if you don't have it, or if you cannot make it, then I think the system should be improved. I know this is a super general answer, but I cannot give a calculation answer for your specific facility. Let's hear from Arvind. Maybe their answers can support you more.
Thank you. And have any Gabi software demo, or please can be contact person?
Yes, I can share it in the meeting chat.
Okay, thank you. And another question can have any how to calculation steam and electricity?
I mean, this is the same for your first question, actually. I mean, you need to know your facility's consumption. If you don't have the meters in your processes specifically, then you need to know, according to the maybe power of your machine, that in which percentage of the electricity from the total can be used from sizing, and the same for the other processes as well. If you, as I said, if you don't have meters in the process level, you need to go from the total consumption, and from total consumption, you need to have an idea of the percentage of the electricity that you are using for production only. Then from that part, again, according to the power of the machines, or maybe the duration also can be another parameter, you need to calculate of the percentage usage for all of your machines. This is actually called the energy mapping, and it can be same for water mapping as well, which you need to know If you don't know it, then you don't know in which machine that you need to focus for the efficiency actually.
Thank you.
And how we collect annual data for SOX and NOx. If you don't have kind of measurements with some reports, you can write it in average base. If you cannot write it, still it is okay. It is not so important. I can use the average results from Gabi. It is okay. Explain cogeneration process. I think I explained it already, but let me explain one more. The thing that cogeneration and the boiler doing is you are putting the fuel to the machine, and according to the calorific value, machine is converting the natural gas, for example, to the steam and to the electricity. That's why it is important to know the quantity and the calorific value, because calorific value is saying, as you can see, unit is megajoule per kilogram, and annual quantity we are taking in kilograms. When we are multiplying it, we are getting the megajoules of the the energy source that you are producing. So in general, you can think that we are converting the sources, the coal and natural gas, to the steam and electricity from the machine, and net calorific value is talking about the capacity of this source's conversion to an energy source. That's why it is important. Hopefully it is more clear. Okay, in captive power plant section, if we are only producing steam for production process, not for then as I said, again underline, then this means you have a boiler, then you only need to fill this for boiler. Then when you fill it and then you come to here, then you will need to write the captive power plant, which means the boiler steam amount to here. And as you are not producing it from captive power plant for electricity, this will be 0. Then you fill for the other ones. Then when I just look to this table and to this table, when you write 0 to here and one amount to here, then I understand that you have only the boiler and you are producing steam, and your electricity source is any other thing that you fill in the table. And is it possible to collect and provide data for electricity, steam, and water style-wise per product? Yes, it is possible, especially if you have meters on your processes, which will Arvind give some examples on this. And zippers and other trims which are added to your product in the final assembly, you have to produce the data from the manufacturer, or maybe you copy other, and depends on the whether you are doing the credit to get partial assessment till a certain. Yeah, I think this is a kind of another answer that you gave. In electricity mix table, captive power plant also comprise of DG generator, then how to fill the diesel generator column. Okay. Diesel generator. This is the old version, by the way. Sorry for that, but for that one again, then this means you need to fill it from here. If it is a diesel generator, diesel amount is here, and also if it is a, where is that? And if it is a natural gas generator, it shouldn't be generator here. Sorry for that. We need to delete this. But if it is a diesel generator, again, we need to delete this. All of the things should be under the captive power plant tab if you are using the generator. That's why please think that if you are producing electricity and steam in your facility, then you need to fill all things to here. Then all the source should be written near to the captive power plant tab. For the other parts, as I said, in the new version, you don't have the generator there. It's a typing error. Other source of the electricity is there. So if you have a diesel generator, then you need to fill this one, and after that you need to write the amount to here again, near to the captive power plant part. And what is net CV of solar? I don't know this, sorry. And just to save the time, we need to continue. I hope I answered most of your questions. And for the improvement point part, as I said, after the data collection part, the other thing that you want to hear is more on the improvement points. And as I said at the beginning, especially for the data recording, collection, or the measurement part, you just need you said you need a guide to set these responsibilities and also want to understand more how to do it. That's why we invited Arvind. Because Arvind is working in ASEA more than a couple of years, even they started before us, and they have a certain system, especially for the data measurement and also the calculation, and they have a dedicated and trained team. That's why I invited them to just share their experiences. So the floor is yours. I think you are here. Yes, Arvind?
Yes. Thank you, Ipek, and nice to see everyone, and thanks for taking us through the training again, Ipek. So yes, at Arvind, we've been doing LCA since 2016 when we first started with doing the cotton LCA, and thereafter we had done the LCA for foam dyed denim fabric, and now we've also done for foam dyeing and some of the other non-denim fabric applications also. And we initially there was a lot of struggle with the LCA because of the data requirements and our process not sort of set up in a way to provide that data requirement. So over the years, we have made a lot of improvements in the process where a lot of utilities are now being measured at the machine level, where the steam, water, and energy consumption are available at various dyeing and processing machines. Many of the new machines also that we have purchased during these years, they are coming fitted with all the utility on screen, which all of you would also noticed in the latest generation of dyeing and processing machines. All the utility data is captured at the machine level itself. In some places, this data is not captured at the machine level, or it is difficult to monitor that, like in spinning. So in spinning, we have done the measurement campaign, and then we do the allocation of data based on the yarn count and the weight of the yarn. So per kg yarn, we have made based on the apportioning of data according to different yarn counts and according to different fibers that are going into the spinning process. But largely for dyeing, for finishing, we are able to measure at the machine level different data types. We also purchased the Gabi software from Sphera, where we are now having our trained team who is doing the LCAs for different products as per the requirements, where we are able to compare which products are lower impact as compared to the other products. So we know that initially this is very challenging to imagine, but this is certainly possible to do with more time and resources and with the trained staff. And this also adds a lot of value where we can demonstrate that this one fabric is better than other in terms of its life cycle impacts on different environmental parameters. Thank you, Ipek.
We cannot hear you. Oops.
Yeah, I was saying like I'm done, Ipek. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, your camera is getting from later. That's why it seems like you are still talking. So do you have anything that you want to ask to Arvind? I'm asking this to other suppliers. Bansal, it seems that you are talking in your camera, but you are mute. I'm not sure if there's a problem in your camera, but
No, I think there was some lag in the.
yeah. But yeah, everyone is saying the same thing. Okay. So yeah, maybe it's better to close your camera. So anything that you want to ask to Arvind?
I think somebody is asking about software name. So software is Gabi, which is by Sphera.
Yeah, that's the same software that we are using also. Any other thing that, especially when I'm looking to, let me share my screen again. When I'm looking to the queries that you add, especially for I think Murat asked about it, for the measurement or calculation for the electricity consumption, steam consumption, or the other inputs. Do you think you have more answers right now?
Yeah, I think data collection is certainly the most important aspect, and where we've also seen that it varies also with the production run. So we should not try to do measurement when the production run is smaller, because it gives inaccurate results. So you should do the data collection when there is a significant production run, like at least 10,000 meters, so that you get a normal value.
Yep. Anything that you want to ask at, or we will go for the last part of the training?
No, nothing from my side. Thank you.
Okay, then. Thank you for Arvind to share his experiences. So we can go for the next part, which is the analyzing of the results part. And for this, I'm inviting Sora for the floor.
Thank you, Ipek. And I think we have got a last 1 hour, 1.5 hour has been really like insightful, and we learned a lot of things from you and Abhishek. So I just would like to, I'll not take much time. I'd like to just walk you through on this particular slide. And I think this is one of the important questions from many of you. So how we are analyzing the results, or what we are doing with the data we are collecting, right? So first of all, I mean, I think we are doing a great job, and I think this is something we are doing for the first time for the industry. I think probably some of the brands or some of the companies, they have done the LCA for some products or some fabrics, but not at the scale what we are planning to do at this moment. So great job for that. But then what we are doing, and specifically because this is also have been a very learning experience for us in last 2 years or 2.5 years. So what we are doing, we are after the modeling of all the data, we are kind of doing the consolidation for all those data based on the different impact categories, as Ipek mentioned, like global warming potential, the primary energy demand, and the blue water consumption. And we try to see what are the life cycle stages are more impactful, and we have kind of consolidated, and we try to narrow it down and find, okay, maybe the fabric part, the dyeing and the finishing part are more say for impactful, or in terms of the garment production, the washing or the treatment, those are more impactful. So what we are doing after the consolidation, we are trying to find all the sweet spots, all the low-hanging fruits, which we can, which we have already achieved from the suppliers. Like, the product we have made earlier, like, I can talk about the Lee collaboration we have done last year. And also recently we have done a lot of campaign orders. And then at the same time, we are also finding the hotspots, right, which are not so good. And we feel that there are some areas of improvement and something will be definitely controllable from our hand, and something we need your help to support. If it is like the facility level change or something, maybe, I can give an example, like, if some market are using coal as a primary source of energy, and if we go to the renewable, then definitely we know it's much, much better. So in those kind of cases, we need your help. So it is important that you also understand that, the loopholes, whatever we are having now. So for us, we are now developing a LCA library, you can say. It's like a data bank, and we are kind of deep diving in it and trying to understand what are the reasons for not so good impacts. So that is a parallel working we are doing at this moment, and then make a list of improvements that you need to do according to the results. And then the next step, we prioritize it according to the impact achievement, which means, like, say if we are launching a waterless collection, so we know what are the factors could be really important. Is it from the fiber stage, or it could be from some of the low impact washes, or it could be the recycling of water. So those kind of things we are taking into consideration. And the last but not the least is focus all the activities related to water and climate agenda have impact in the product level. So be it renewable energy, be it water circularity, renewable fuel efficiency. So if you improve these all parts, so in a way your impact would be much better. So you will have a less impact to the environment. So we are taking all this consideration in the discussion and in the analysis. So, and if you have any questions, or if you want to know more about any styles, please reach us with your specific question or any feedback. So we are always there to help you. So yeah, that's it, I think, from my side, Ipek.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty much a summary that we can give. I mean, I hope that the way that we need to work after we got the analysis part is clear. But also, as Sorav said, we will have more and more focus on this to use these results, not only for the transparency perspective, but also to improve from the impact perspective as well. So we are actually, yes, this is the end of the training actually, and we have 10 minutes more to have your questions. Anything, I mean, for this question as well, I mean, this depends on your facility actually. I mean, the thing that as H&M we can do is just to tell how we need to get the data in the data collection sheet and what is the methods that we are using for validating it. But for the collection part in your facility, we cannot, I mean, 100% help you on this. I'm not sure if also someone from production team will support you, because the important part is to know the production and the facility. That's why for those kind of questions, I don't have an answer. Sorry for this.
I think someone raised a hand as well.
Okay. Yes, please. I don't see. Sorry.
Zafar Hussain, you can switch on your microphone and ask.
Yes, this is Farhan from US Apparel.
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
I have a question that where should we write solar generation in inputs or outputs? The
I
second question.
mean, you need to write the amount of solar electricity that you are using in this table here.
In electricity, in upper portion where coal, heavy in inputs, I mean in inputs and outputs, we will not write it.
No, I mean, we don't actually want to get how if you are producing on site, we don't want to know how you are producing it. We just want to know for solar, just the quantity of the solar electricity that you are using.
And should we not consider it in the captive power plant, because we are generating this solar generation at our facility?
Hello.
Where do you want to write it to here? I don't understand.
No. I just because if we have a captive power plant, just like solar is also same source, just like the sets or other source. Why we are writing in a separate column?
I don't get it. Sorry. If someone get it, can you support me? I mean, if you have solar electricity, then you need to write it to here. For captive power plant, if you are saying that you are using solar electricity for the production, then you can see that there is electricity consumption. Then you can write the amount to here. I hope this is the answer for you.
We have a solar system. Now we should write it in the inputs column or in the electricity.
You have what system? You have what system? Sorry.
Solar panels. We have solar system of.
Okay, then yes, I'm saying that for the solar panels, for the solar electricity that you are using in your facility, you need to write the amount of the electricity to here only. Then for the other things, no.
Okay. Second question. Okay. Second question is in the output column. Yeah, in
Which
the
output column?
Output, just go above. Here. We have a column of total steam generation. Here in our facility, we have a boiler just only for steam generation.
Okay.
And its steam we will write in output.
Yeah, then you need to write the total steam generation and the steam for process consumption.
Yeah.
Then those will be equal.
Okay. We should also write in the total process consumption.
Yeah, total steam generation and steam for process consumption. If you are producing electricity with the steam, then you need to write the amount of steam that you are using for electricity generation to here. And in general, they are same. They are all equal, actually.
Okay. Then third question, my third question on the same sheet.
Yes.
In the input column, in heavy fuel oil column,
Yes.
if we are using heavy fuel oil for steam generation as well as for power generation, electricity generation,
Then the total is okay. You can write the total. Then you can write it that we are using it both for electricity and the steam generation in the comments part.
in the comments. But when we'll calculate the efficiency of the machine, then
then it will be automatically calculated the efficiency for your machine separately.
But how?
There is a formula for that. There is a formula. It will be automatically calculated when you write the quantities here.
I think we should have a separate column for boiler for steam, HFO for steam, and HFO for electricity.
But I mean, all the inputs are in general same, and also for the previous projects, it creates more confusion. That's why we did like this. If you think that there are differentiations between the steam and electricity generation, then you can use the comment part. Then we can understand this.
Okay. Otherwise, same fuel is being used in two different machines. I mean, boiler is a different machine and generator is a different machine.
Then just please write that if you are using coal for the boiler and natural gas for the electricity generation, then write it separately, okay? Then just write it, then write it to the comments part.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have Amit from Raymond. Amit, go ahead. Amit, are you there? Seems no.
Okay. Any other question then? Okay, then I already write the contact for Gabi purchasing. Please mention that you are the H&M supplier because there is a specific package for this for Gabi. And as I said, after this meeting, we will share the recording with you. If you want to share with your team members or something, you can share it and you can use this as a reference because we will go one by one for everything. That's why when you are doing the data collection or the validation, if you have any question mark, you can refer this presentation and also for the recording. And also, we will share a mail with you, as I said, to share the LCA data with SAC to improve the data library for the product module to get your ideas. Those are the three things that we will do right after the meeting. And thanks for joining and thanks for the time. I hope the topics are more clear for you right now. Any additions, Sora?
No, I think that a small addition would be like we will get back to you also on the data collection for season 5 very soon. And that is also something we are checking when we are going to start this. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully next week, it should be next week, because some of the season 5 production will start, I think, next week onwards.
And for the data collection for season 5, I mean for all, but just to underline again, the real production data is preferred. So if you didn't start for the production of the products, please do not write the assumed data. Please mention us that you didn't start for the production and you will start, just let us know when you will start and when you can share the data collection sheet with us. We prefer the real numbers, not the assumed numbers. So that's why we need to wait for you to start for the production. Not finish, but you need to start to get the real data.
Perfect. Thank you for your questions.
Again.
Yes.
Yes. Have a nice day ahead. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.